morning. Good morning and welcome to Cushing Academy's 2013 commencement exercises. I've always loved the collective wisdom of our society that is embodied in language, and one of the reasons I love etymology. And I think it's wonderful that we have had the wisdom as a civilization to call these exercises a commencement, a beginning rather than an ending. And it truly is. But it's certainly an ending of poignancy for all of us as well, as we go into the terrible class of 2013. Class of 2013, I would invite you to stand for a couple of seconds with me. Would you please stand? I would like you to turn and applaud your parents and guardians and all of your loved ones. Stay standing, please. Stay standing. Only when you are parents will you fully realize what they have given to you, how much they've given of themselves to make you who you are today. And I would also like to invite you to applaud your teachers who have done so much to teach you in the last few years. And also, lastly, but certainly not least, the trustees. Many of you probably don't know many of our trustees, but they, behind the scenes, volunteer their time, give of their resources and talent tremendously to give you the experience that you have had at Cushing. And so I would like to applaud them as well. Thank you. And now the rest of the day properly belongs to you, but I also think it's eminently proper to begin by recognizing that you don't get here alone and that there are so many people in your life, those you know and love and some you don't know, who have made all of this possible for you. Wanted to just share a few remarks today. I'm going to keep them short because we all, of course, want to hear from our, we're very excited to hear from Nate Berkus as our commencement speaker. And my wife always reminds me that the greatest speech in the English language probably was Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, which lasted under 2 minutes. I don't know why she always reminds me of that. In the 14th century, Yoshida Kenko, the great Buddhist philosopher and essayist in Japan, wrote, "To sit alone in the lamplight with a book spread before me and converse with friends of unseen generations, such is a pleasure beyond compare." And I have found that to be a constant source of pleasure and solace. And I wanted to share with you some of my best friends whom I have been able to converse with over the years and share some of the most germane quotes for you today. This one is from Samuel Johnson. "Even those to whom Providence hath allotted greater strength of understanding can expect only to improve a single science. In every other part of their learning, they must be content to follow opinions which they are not able to examine. And even in that which they claim as peculiarly their own, can seldom add more than some small particle of knowledge and hereditary stock devolved to them from the collective labor of 1,000 intellects." And I think that that's a wonderful quote because it shows no matter how learned we become, we are depending upon the knowledge and the insights bequeathed to us from thousands of intellects across the generations. And we're just a part of that stream, and we're bequeathing it to our successors on this planet. It also, I think, instills in us the importance of honesty and integrity in our work so that we bequeath what is right as part of that stream. And it also leads me to a comment by the great German philosopher and poet Goethe, who said, one who cannot call upon 3,000 years is living hand to mouth. One who cannot call upon 3,000 years is living hand to mouth. In other words, if you have not internalized 3,000 years of human culture, then you are reinventing it, and probably not very well, on your own as you go through life. That 3,000 years will guide you. And that is what education is about. And your teachers have done so much to instill in you 3,000 years. Literally. When you're studying algebra or calculus, you're studying the culmination to date of 3,000 years of inquiry. And so with all the other disciplines that you've studied. And so your teachers have given you that 3,000 years to begin the next X number of decades of your life. And that's a tremendous gift. But one needs humility, and one needs heart. And so my last two quotes that I'll share with you speak to that. Aristotle said, educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. And I know that everybody under this tent and those who can't be with us have done so much to also instill the education of the heart in you. And you guys came, and I know you guys came with wonderful hearts to begin with. But it's still a lifelong process, and you have to be humble. You have to keep in mind that you are never fully arrived, that you're never all you can be, especially for others, and that you belong here on this planet for what you can do for others. And so I'll close with one of my favorite quotes from the great 15th century mystic who was labeled a heretic by the church, but is now recognized as one of the great spiritual mystics of all time, Meister Eckhart, who said, a man was astonished at the... I think the glacier is moving in. I'm not sure what that is. And by the way, we have medical personnel on hand for immediate signs of hypothermia today. It's true. Meister Eckhart said, a man was astonished by the rapidity with which he was moving along the spiritual path. He was in fact moving backwards. If you have spiritual pride, you're going in the wrong direction. And so I know that you'll be thinking of those quotes endlessly for years to come. As you will just cherish every word that is spoken to you today, I'm sure. But if you take anything away, I hope it's from Mr. Berkus. And finally, I have three things I want to say to you directly, class of 2013. Class of 2013, congratulations. Class of 2013, may all your dreams come true. And last but far from least, Molly, what am I going to say?
Class of 2013, you rock!
That's right, Molly. Thanks for your help, Molly. And now it's my distinct pleasure to invite to this podium the president of Cushing's Board of Trustees, Richard Harrington.
Congratulations of class of 2013. By the way, the other students are selling hats, scarves, gloves, coats, if anybody gets a little cold, for the Cushing Annual Fund. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would like to welcome you to Cushing's 138th commencement. It's a very special privilege for the trustees to share this day with the class of 2013. Your family and friends, the faculty and staff, and all our students. We are honored to help celebrate our graduates' hard work and achievements. Many of my fellow trustees are here today, and the entire board joins me in congratulating you, the class of 2013, and wishing you and we want to wish you every success in college and in all that lies ahead. Today, we not only honor the accomplishments of our students, but also say goodbye as they move to the next phase of your life. This year, we are saying goodbye not only to the students, but also to Headmaster Dr. Jim Tracy, who has led the Academy so ably over the last 7 years. Jim's legacy of innovation and his commitment to providing Cushing students with all of the tools they need to succeed will remain long after he's left. Please join me in applauding Jim's leadership and in thanking Jim and his wife, Jan, for their outstanding dedication to our school over the last 7 years. My wife told me to stay under a minute, not including applause. I will end. We hope that everyone will join us at the library following the graduation for a farewell reception and a celebration for Dr. Tracy's fine work that he's done over the last 7 years at the Academy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dick, for your kind remarks, and thank you all. And now it's my considerable pleasure to invite our honored guest to join me at the podium, Mr. Nate Berkus. It's a great honor to welcome Nate Berkus back to Cushing. We're delighted, too, that his fiancée, Jeremiah Brent, is with us for this celebration. Welcome, Jeremiah. We are proud today to bestow upon Nate the Cushing Academy Distinguished Alumni Award, after which he will do us the great honor of delivering the commencement address. This is the second time Nate has addressed a Cushing commencement. He was invited to do so by the students in his graduating class after having been here only 1 year, which was quite a remarkable thing. It speaks to the influence he has on the people around him. Nate is the fourth recipient of this award, joining international photojournalist Jane Evelyn Atwood, who is an alumna. All of them have been alumna, of course. Entrepreneur Aaron Earls, who was here just about a month ago, and legendary actress Bette Davis, who was recognized on the 100th anniversary of her birth. Nate was able to get here earlier than that. Established in 2008, the award honors alumni for their exemplary personal accomplishments, professional achievements, and I think in many ways, most importantly, the ways in which they've contributed to society. Nate has achieved distinction abundantly in each of these areas. Nate's Cushing story began in 1989 when he enrolled as a senior from his home in Minnesota. In true Penguin spirit, he seized every opportunity, excelling in the classroom, taking part in productions of Hamlet in Chicago, chairing the Model UN Club, and working on the school newspaper in 1 year. No wonder he's so indefatigable in his career. After Cushing, Nate received his bachelor's degree from Lake Forest College, and he then followed his passions into the field of, no surprise to anyone here, design. And at just age 24, he opened Nate Berkus Associates in Chicago, which continues to design interiors across the country and around the world to parents. In 2002, Nate was invited to make over a small place for the Oprah Winfrey Show, and the rest is history, of course. He became the featured design expert for the show and continued to garner national renown. While those pursuits alone would have kept any of us busy, Nate has also released a national line of home products, and in 2005 published his first book, Home Rules, which, unlike my first book, became a New York Times bestseller. Mine's just a slow sort of burn. An entrepreneur who has continued to embrace new challenges. Nate hosted the Emmy-nominated Nate Berkus Show, a daily syndicated talk show for 2 seasons, and he enjoyed a new role as executive producer on the 2011 Disney and DreamWorks film, The Help. This year has seen the launch of major new collections of home goods, accessories, and fabrics. And next year, we can all look forward to his hosting a new NBC series, tentatively titled American Dream Builders. So that'll be fun and exciting. Another milestone has been the publication of his second book, The Things That Matter, also a New York Times bestseller, in which he, among other things, pays tribute to Madame Cheryl Storm, who joins us on stage today. Reminiscing about his favorite Cushing memories, in the most eloquent section of his book, of course, he writes about Cheryl. I began my fascination with France thanks to my glamorous French teacher, Cheryl Storm, and we all agree with the glamorous part, who had cool earrings, wore her bangs at a very chic angle, and rocked a designer scarf over her shoulder.
Still does.
And I think the rest of you will be able to identify with this as well. Here we were sitting in a classroom at the base of a mountain in Massachusetts, believing that we were in the heart of Paris. What a wonderful encomium for Cheryl. That's so nice. And it also speaks to what I know is Nate's heart, where he is always generous to the people who have influenced him and are around him. In fact, it was wonderful to see today that even being our honored guest and the celebrity renown that he has, he leaned over to Dave Stone and made sure that Dave was under his umbrella with him, which was very, very thoughtful. Nate has written honestly and beautifully about losses and challenges he faced, including and especially the aftermath of the 2004 Southeast Asian tsunami, when I know he suffered great personal loss. The kindness and compassion that were undoubtedly tested and strengthened in that tragedy have been a continued source of inspiration to his millions of admirers worldwide. He is generously involved in a number of charitable causes, including no-kill animal shelters, such as the Animal Anti-Cruelty League and Paws Chicago. He has hosted the Delete Blood Cancer event for the last 2 years and is a member of the American Red Cross National Celebrity Cabinet. And the American Red Cross was one of the first organizations on the ground after the tsunami. And Nate continues to support all their efforts whenever he can, both locally and nationally and abroad. Nate, Cushing is proud, enormously proud of you, immensely proud of you, and it is a privilege to now bestow upon you the 4th ever given Cushing Academy Distinguished Alumni Award, if I can open this box.
Hey guys, how you doing? Good. A little tired, freezing. In the great tradition of Cushing Academy, I'm still not wearing socks 23 years later, which is a bad decision for today's commencement ceremony. So thank you very much, Dr. Tracy. Really, what a beautiful introduction. I don't recognize the person that he was just talking about, but I guess I did do all of that stuff. And I did have the incredible opportunity to do the things that Dr. Tracy mentioned in the year that I spent here at Cushing Academy. So I graduated Cushing 23 years ago this month. So I've really been where you are, literally. The fact that it's 23 years is crazy to me because I still think I'm 18, but apparently I'm not. That would be a science project, and I was never particularly wonderful at science. It's very good to be back. I want to thank everyone for welcoming me and having me back to my school, our school. That summer, the summer of 1990 that I graduated, to be exact, Saddam Hussein's military took over Kuwait, and it set off what CNN branded the showdown in the Gulf. 1990 was also the year that East and West Germany got back together. Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman got married that year. Nelson Mandela got out of prison. The Gardner Museum got robbed of $200 million worth of art. Mikhail Gorbachev got the Nobel Peace Prize. and Mike Tyson got knocked out, Macaulay Culkin got left home alone. The world has changed. George Bush's Read My Lips promise not to raise taxes got thrown out the window in 1990 as well, and I didn't know what to make of any of it. I sat right about there, actually. My parents sat right over there, all four of them, and I sat there in my cap and gown just like all of you are today. And I have to say, I don't know that I understood very much about the world or, more importantly, my particular place in it. I had a few really bad haircuts from town and a few really good friends. I wore duck shoes, I lived on pizza, I listened to music in my room. I guess, really, I was sort of a rough draft of the person that I've become today. But the good news is, that's allowed, guys. I'm here to tell you that it's really okay that if, even in the midst of all the hard-earned celebration and much-deserved excitement, the fancy family dinner tonight, the serious partying after your parents go to bed, 23 years, guys, it's not that hard, it's not that hard to forget. The congratulatory check from your great aunt, whomever, the big plans that you've got for this summer, and the even bigger plans that you have this fall. Even with the tremendous sense of joy and relief and accomplishment that comes from finally completing this leg of the journey, not only is it okay to still be trying to figure everything out, it's actually as natural as night following the day. So, if you're feeling a little bit lost when this very special day finally comes to a close, I promise you that being a little bit lost makes coming home that much sweeter. And I want you to know that if you're smart and you're mindful and you're lucky and you're honest, especially with yourselves, sooner or later, pretty much everybody does find their way. You get to your core beliefs, you develop astonishing relationships, you settle into a place of your own choosing. You will build a life of your own design. You'll come to terms, if not with the world, then at least with your little corner of it. I've made a career out of helping people create a space for themselves. I show clients how to determine what's beautiful to them. I guide them in recognizing what's important to keep and what they should probably think about letting go of. What's a passing trend and what will stand the test of time, what will elevate them, what will anchor them, and what, when it's all said and done, will bring them peace. I try to be their witness, peace, just like that. I try to be their witness as they sort through all the stuff that tells their story, and I work with them on figuring out the things that matter most. I did a book last year, as Dr. Tracy said, called The Things That Matter. The writing process really was not that big of a deal. I worked with an old friend who knows me very well. It took maybe 18 months off and on to write it, on Saturday mornings and on Sunday afternoons. The research, however, on the other hand, took me approximately 41 years. There are a few things that I now realize don't matter much, and a few things that I've come to believe are absolutely essential. And while I'm pretty confident that you're going to discover all of this for yourself at some point, I also know that when I was sitting exactly where all of you are sitting right now, I would have really appreciated a heads up. So, here it goes. You have to know the enemy. And I'm sorry to say that there's quite a few out there. But my top three, in no particular order, are apathy, cynicism, and resignation. These are quiet monsters and they're sneaky. They're going to cloak themselves in complacency and sarcasm and hide in fear. They'll tiptoe in, they'll try to lower your standards, compromise your values, and corrode your heart. If left untreated, they've even been known to cause paralysis. I want you to be vigilant against these things. I want you to see through their disguise and fight them with every single thing you've got. You do this by integrating your most sacred beliefs into every aspect of your lives. Take your integrity to college or to work or to wherever you go next, because being an honorable person really matters. And while we're at it, I hope that you'll never be afraid to hope. I'm a gay man in the United States of America, and let me tell you, there have been times when that fact has made living with a sense of optimism quite a challenge for me personally. Optimism may not be an option for you, but hope is an entirely different animal. Hope is having the guts to, as they say in church, step out on nothing, and land on something. There will be times when you'll feel bone tired, when you'll have major doubts about what's going on out there, and chances are pretty good that those doubts will be legitimate. But when you feel that hope is lost, when you look around and you realize that the guy in the next cubicle is being paid 20% more for doing the same job that you're doing because he's a man and you're a woman, when it dawns on you that African Americans are sometimes still being stopped and frisked for no other reason than the color of their skin, when the official message to gays and lesbians is, you are not entitled to the same rights as every other citizen of this country, when you see firsthand the stunning ability that American society has to resist change, my hope is that you'll draw energy from the idea that history is still being written, and that what you do or what you fail to do will have an influence on every single person's future. And that keeping your hope not just alive, but in excellent working order is vital. Hope is an act of faith in faithless times. And let me tell you, hope matters. Reading is fundamental. I know that sounds kind of basic, but we live in a time of tweets and texts, sound bites, and cliff notes. My wish for each of you is that you'll go out and get yourself a big, fat, juicy novel, a collection of poetry, some mind-blowing short stories, and a few epic memoirs. I want you to take genuine pleasure in history and mystery, fiction and biographies, extraordinary language and insights and experiences. Allow yourself to not only be nourished, but transported by everyone from Jane Austen to David Foster Wallace. And when you find a book that you really love, I hope you'll pay it forward. Lend that book to somebody who might see what you saw or might show you something that you missed. Because books lead to conversation, conversation leads to connection, and two human beings connecting, especially when it's not on Facebook, is everything. Books and art and eye contact matter. Don't be jaded, guys. Don't assume that you know how the movie ends. It turns out sometimes the crabby cashier is working 2 jobs to take care of a sick child. Sometimes the doorman is fluent in 4 languages and was a top engineer in Kosovo. People have stories to tell. They grow, they change, they screw up, they try again. And sometimes they learn from their mistakes, sometimes they don't. Sometimes somebody you're counting on lets you down, but sometimes somebody that you barely know is going to step up to the plate. People are amazing. Don't ever make yourself into somebody that can't be surprised. Allowing for new ideas, new possibilities, living an open-hearted life, that matters. Most everyone here today is rooting for your success. I've become fairly successful, and let me tell you, I'm all for it. I'm rooting for you as well. But the thing about success is that it can disappear in the blink of an eye. Wall Street wipes out, jobs are downsized, and it is my sad duty to report that television shows have been known to get canceled from time to time. You see, success, like failure, is frequently beyond our control. But you know what's always entirely up to us? You know what's permanent? Excellence. And that's what I want for each of you, and what I want each of you to want for yourselves. Whether you know it or not, every single person here has the potential for excellence. It could be that you excel in calculus. That was definitely not me. It could be that you can rally people to a cause. Maybe you have a talent for friendship or a way of calming the cranky or organizing the chronically discombobulated. Maybe you've got a gift for writing or carpentry, or you play piano, or you bake an incredible banana bread. Whatever your particular skill, I hope that you take pride in it. Because believe me, there are plenty of people who will be all too happy to dismiss what you can do. Plenty of people who will never place a premium on an incredible banana bread. I swear to you that those people don't matter. It's debilitating to see your self-worth through somebody else's eyes. You have to value what you have to offer. If somebody else wants to join that cheering section, that's terrific. Like that person? I love the kids, it's so great, right? If somebody else wants to join that cheering section, that's terrific, but you have to be your biggest fan. When your head hits the pillow at night, You have to know that you did your best at whatever that thing is that you're best at doing, because knowing that you swung for the fences matters. Don't ever confuse what's legal with what's moral. Don't ever confuse wealth and fame with achievement and character. Don't ever give yourself, or anybody else for that matter, a free pass. Expect the best and the most from the people you choose to surround yourselves with, and give them the exact same in return. Money and celebrity, it's great. It's really great. But it means getting a really good seat in a really hot restaurant. It doesn't determine worth, and let me assure you, it really doesn't matter. What matters is that you spend some time with your grandparents if you're blessed enough to still have them around. What matters is that you remember birthdays, you send valentines, and that you're around for the occasional family mini crisis, and that you acknowledge the love and the time that's been spent on all of you. What matters is that you're there on the other end of the phone when your friend needs you. There's nothing wrong with wanting to do well, but I also hope you'll try and do some good. Showing up for the people in your life, that's what matters. And showing up for the folks that you don't really know matters too. There are an awful lot of good people out there who haven't been graced with the same opportunities, the same good fortune, the same education as you've been granted. There are people who are struggling, people who are hungry, people who are lonely, people who are sick, people who could use a kind word every now and then. I don't know if you can change the universe, but I'm pretty sure you can turn somebody's day around. I've actually been on the receiving end of incredible goodness in my life, and I know for a fact that listening, reaching for a hand, and giving something back, that matters. I once read a great quote from Albert Einstein. He said, "Education is what remains after we forget what we've been taught." Sorry, guys. I can still do pretty well with my French, but really what remains for me, the thing that I've never forgotten, is how Madame Storm encouraged me to be a citizen of the world. She made me want to chart new territory when I was here at Cushing, to have an adventure and to be comfortable enough to be who I am, even while immersed in another culture. After you no longer remember the square root of Everest or the calorie content of an earthworm's diet, or whether the law of the excluded middle applies west of the Rockies, after all of the information that has been carefully taught to you begins to fall away, my hope is that what remains is the ability to analyze, make distinctions, and live your lives creatively. I hope that when you go all in, and that your education inspires you to navigate the world with confidence and curiosity. And more than anything, I hope that you never stop learning and that you relish each new lesson, because having a passion that goes the distance, that's what matters most. That about covers it. I wish you ethics and imagination. I wish you wit and courage. I hope you rock the boat, and I hope you make some noise. And I hope that you always remember how proud and how happy you've made everyone here today just by getting this far. Congratulations, class of 2013.
Thank you, Nate. That was one of the best commencement speeches I've ever heard. Right up there. Right up there with David Foster Wallace. And of course, Dick Harrington, who gave an address some years ago and is my boss. And let that be a lesson to you, too, going forth. Actually, as we go into the awarding of the diplomas, I actually am reminded of something from Dick's wonderful commencement talk when he told the story of a friend of his who went on to become a considerable success. And he went back to his alma mater and said to the dean at the college, I owe it all to you and the advice you gave me when I graduated. The dean didn't even remember him and said, why, what advice did I give you? And he said as he was going across the podium across the stage getting his diploma, the dean said to him, keep moving, keep moving. Thank you again, Nate. Many seniors were among the award recipients honored at today's ceremony, and their names are printed in at yesterday's award ceremony, and their names are printed in your program. I now have the pleasure, along with the president of the board, to present the senior awards that are reserved each year for presentation at the graduation ceremony. Before we begin, I'd like to announce a few points of order for the seniors. As you guys know, come this way, your right, and exit stage left. Families, when your graduate is called to receive an award or diploma, a photograph will be taken by a professional photographer who will be in contact with you, surprisingly, for a price to provide them to you. But you, of course, can take your own pictures as well. But because we're streaming live, would you please leave your seats to take, when you do leave your seats to take photographs, which you're most welcome to do, we ask that you quickly return to your seats and avoid that side lights are not obstructed. I wanted to mention, too, that a number of today's awards, which we've been doing for a few years now, come in the form of Kiva cards, which I think is a wonderful emblematic gesture, and it actually is wonderful, too, that it was initiated by students a few years ago. And what Kiva cards are a vehicle by which you can go to the Kiva website, which is a nonprofit organization. It has hundreds of proposals from impoverished people in developing countries around the world for the startups that they want to entrepreneurially begin, to lift themselves and others out of poverty, to create jobs and commerce. You get to pick from your Kiva card. You can't spend it on yourself. It's to give back. So your accomplishment is recognized as it ought to be, and then it's an opportunity for you to pick somebody in a developing country who can be transformative through a micro-lending project. I think it's a lovely, lovely gesture, and again, initiated by students, and it's a pleasure to give those out to our well-deserving award recipients today. First award I'm going to have the pleasure of giving out, excuse me, is the Deborah Evans Class of 1974 Award, and that is given in memory of a young woman whose life was cut sadly short, but whose dedication to life was limitless, whose spirit brightened every facet of our school while she was here, whose warmth and concern touched everyone, and whose presence and vitality have become a cherished part of the Academy to this day. She gave to her school the best of herself, and this year the award, not surprisingly to anyone who knows her, goes to Julia Mansfield. The Holden Class of 1888 prizes are given in honor of William and Eliza Holden, both of whom truly exemplify the characteristics of loyalty and friendliness. We have two deserving recipients of this honorable prize this year. I'd like to have them to the stage separately so that they each get their individual applause. The first is Marissa Macario. And of course, they're equally deserving and come in no particular order. The second to receive it is Andrew Charbes. The Pliny A. Boyd Class of 1894 prizes are given to the girl and boy who have demonstrated the best spirit of general helpfulness and have had the best citizenship during the current school year. The very worthy recipients of this award are first, neither of them is a stranger to the stage after yesterday's awards as well. The first one is Soyeon Selena Kim. Selena is going to UC Berkeley next year. Being a Stanford man, I still like her. In fact, my wife went to Berkeley, though I do go to sleep with a shirt that says "Beat Cal." But she'll have a great experience there. Also known as the People's Republic of Berkeley. And the second very worthy recipient of this is a longtime member of the Cushing family, in fact, since he was born, Nicholas Merrill. Would ask the peanut gallery to be quiet, if you would. I'm just kidding. I love our alumni. The Senator Marcus A. Coolidge Award was established to honor Senator Coolidge's leadership as mayor of Fitchburg, a United States Senator and a trustee and board president of Cushing Academy for 28 years. This award is presented annually to the president of the Academy's student government to highlight the importance of leadership in politics and government, as exemplified by this senior's illustrious career. And of course, it is going to Jack Peacock. By the way, those of you who don't know me, I hope you know I was joking about the peanut gallery comment. I really do think it's wonderful when family and friends yell out for their loved ones, so I didn't mean that seriously at all. I don't want to discourage it unintentionally. I asked Jack to stay on stage because he's also the first recipient of the next award, the Eaton Class of 1900 and Dunn Class of 1899 prize. The Eaton and Dunn families are synonymous with service to this academy, as exemplified by Alice Eaton Dunn and Frederick J. Dunn, both of the class of 1899. And so from very early on, we had men and women meeting here and becoming a husband and wife and spouses. And if America shows good sense in the future, in any state in the Union, we'll have men and women who also meet here and become loved ones and spouses as well. And it's also in recognition of Lillian Eaton, who is from the class of 1900. or 19-aught, as they would have said. Mr. Dunn was a longtime trustee and board president, and Miss Eaton taught at Cushing Academy for 30 years. This award goes to that girl and to that boy who have rendered the finest service to the Academy during the current academic year, the finest service to the Academy. And this year, the first recipient is Jack Peacock. And again, they're equally deserving, so there's no meaning to the order except sequentiality. And the second one, deservedly, for his outstanding service, goes to Molly O'Neill. And now, it is my considerable pleasure and honor to re-invite Mr. Harrington to the stage for the awarding of the Ideal Cushing Boy and Ideal Cushing Girl. Nick?
I said to Jim as he made the peanut gallery, I said to Nate as Jim made the peanut gallery remark that they contribute all the money to us. But yell as much as you want. At the same time, throw as much money at us as you'd like. Now, the Pliny A. Boyd 1984 award is given to that girl who has demonstrated the highest character and ideals, and through them has exerted the greatest influence. The recipient of this award is known as the Ideal Cushing Girl. She has earned the greatest level of respect from her fellow students and faculty alike. And by vote of the faculty, the Ideal Cushing Girl for 2013 is Caitlin Ryan. The Webster Moulton 1944 Award is given in the memory of a boy who greatly loved this school. Though stricken with illness while a student at Cushing, he set an example of courage and cheerfulness. A capable student and athlete, he found joy in helping others and in participating in the activities of our school. The award goes to that boy who most nearly emulates the standards of character, scholarship, and general promise set by Webster Moulton. By vote of the faculty, the Ideal Cushing Boy for 2013 is Tim Lemieux.
The Alumni Salutatorian Award goes, of course, to that member of the class who has the second highest cumulative grade point average. And this year's salutatorian is Jing Rong. The Josephine Vino Cook 1933 Valedictorian Award is in honor, of course, of the leading academician in the graduating class. It's an honor to be forever worn, and the honor this year has been earned richly by Jiangling Kong. Yes. At this time, I invite the valedictorian of the class of 2013, Zheng Ling, to give his valedictorian address.
Thank you, Dr. Tracy. Teachers, administrators, family, friends, and most importantly, the graduating class. Good morning. It's almost afternoon. It is an honor to be speaking to you on this special occasion. After one last week of class, most of them being exams, we are finally graduating. Today, I'm not going to give you any advice, as I have none that would matter from an 18-year-old. But what I can give you are some memories of what our high school years were like, and some of the experiences that have changed us as productive members of society. When I first arrived at Cushing, I admit, I was a little disappointed, but now that I think about it, I was actually scared, like many of you were. I really knew only one person and spent the majority of my time entranced in my own world, which is also to say that I spent most of the time in my own room. I was missing out on what high school life was about. But throughout the next few years, I met people and discovered clubs and activities. There was something for everyone, whether it was sports, music, arts, or something academic, like doing research in Dr. Sponhold's lab. We found something that we truly liked and actually enjoyed doing after the laborious hours of school. Some of you participated in the winter musical, and although I was not a part of it, I knew that it was a transforming experience and that the results were spectacular. School taught us what we need to survive in this economy, but what we do after school hours has changed us as people. And these transformations will follow us for the rest of our lives. I know that as we move on to colleges next year, I will carry all these memories with me, and I hope that you all will as well. And that brings to the next order of business, colleges. We all have been accepted somewhere, and somewhere special. I mean, who would waste hundreds of dollars and apply to a college that they didn't think that they would remotely be happy there? As high school comes to an end, or rather has already ended, a new chapter in our lives begin. The next 4 years will be unique. And after living here in the middle of nowhere for the past 3 years, I would think that going to a city would be a unique challenge. And now, for those of you who are moving to another middle of nowhere, don't worry. It's still going to be a brand new experience, such as observing new variety of trees that you have never seen here in Ashburn as you walk to school each day. And well, I'm actually going to give you one small piece of advice. Enjoy the next 4 years of your lives and try new things. Don't strangle yourself with a single goal. I wasted a year of my life because I was stuck in my own world. Don't let that happen to you. Let us be the harpooneers that set out to the ocean to discover the unknown and hunt white whales. But let us not be lost in it as Ahab was. Let us follow the path that life has set up for us and not regret the past. Let us follow the likes of Captain Bloomer, for if we don't, we will sink like the Pequod in the turbulent seas. Finally, like all others, I have a few special acknowledgments. First, to my best friends here, Haris, Grady, Selena, Annie, and Rachel. You guys have made a world of difference to me. And to those that I did not call, although I may not have known you that well, you have made a difference to the people you are connected with, and that's what's actually important. Second, a big thanks to all the teachers that have taught me and advised me through my endless problems, whether related to academics, colleges, or just in the other category. And thirdly, I would like to thank all the parents for having us, because without you, we would not be here. Also, I would especially like to thank my father, because today is his birthday. And so happy birthday to him. And lastly, thank you, my fellow classmates. Without you, there would be no community. And with that, congratulations, class of 2013. Thank you.